A second impeachment of President Trump appears imminent as lawmakers on both sides of the aisle press him to step down as soon as possible. The House will vote tomorrow on a resolution demanding Vice President Mike Pence convene the cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment. Doing so would remove the president's powers, likely for the remainder of his term. Republicans blocked the move from being considered with unanimous consent. If Mr. Pence does not do so within 24 hours, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says Congress will move forward with impeachment. At least 210 lawmakers are endorsing one article of impeachment. The charge, an incitement of insurrection. The article is likely to go to a vote as early as tomorrow. Speaker Pelosi grew emotional when talking to 60 Minutes' Leslie Stahl about the riot.
Universally accepted that what happened was a terrible, terrible violation of the Capitol, of the first branch of government, the legislative branch, by the President of the United States.
Hey everyone, it's John. Today's topic is a bit uncomfortable. House Democrats have filed actual impeachment articles, 13 separate counts from Rep. John Larson against President Trump. This is no longer a threat. It's a formal constitutional proceeding unfolding in real time. And the charges are absolutely wild. Come on. Are you kidding me with this stuff? Trump is getting impeached for threatening to wipe out a whole civilization. A whole civilization. He said it, he posted it. He made the threat public for the entire world to see. And Congress is looking at that and saying, yeah, that is impeachable. That violates the Constitution. That is something you can get removed for. Think about that for a second.
At least 6 people are dead following last week's act of domestic terrorism. Among them, a Capitol Police officer, 42-year-old Brian Sicknick. He was attacked by the rioters. Authorities have charged at least 19 people with federal crimes related to the assault on the Capitol. We have not heard from President Trump since social media companies suspended his accounts late last week. The White House says he will speak today, but not about the violence he helped spark. Instead, sources tell CBS News he will focus instead on big tech and what he believes his administration has accomplished. CBS News chief congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes joins me now from Capitol Hill. Hi, Nancy. So House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn has suggested proceedings could wait until after the first 100 days of President-elect Biden's term. How have lawmakers begun setting the impeachment process in motion today? And do they expect any action on the 25th Amendment from Vice President Pence?
The President of the United States threatened to destroy an entire civilization. Trump said on social media that if Iran did not meet his deadline, a whole civilization would die tonight. That is genocidal language. That is authoritarian language. That is the kind of thing that autocrats say before they do something terrible. And Congress is saying, if you keep doing that, you will be removed from office. That is not normal. That is extraordinary. That is serious. And this is not just Larson doing his own thing. This is not just one congressman making a statement. There are already other impeachment resolutions on file. Multiple resolutions from different representatives with different angles. They are all piling on. They are all filing articles. They are all moving forward with impeachment.
Well, I can tell you that there are a number of House Democrats who are pushing back, who I have spoken to, who say they can't wait 100 days, that actually, despite what Congressman Clyburn said on TV yesterday, they actually want to move right away. They want to hold this vote this week, assuming that there is no response from the vice president to the 25th Amendment resolution, which is expected to pass tomorrow. And they'll pass this impeachment resolution. And I can tell you that they do now have the numbers to pass it, according to Congressman Ted Lieu. He's one of the authors of this impeachment resolution. I spoke to him a short time ago. He said between the co-sponsors who have now signed on to the resolution, about 210 of them, and other Democrats who haven't signed on to be a co-sponsor, but who have told him verbally that they will support it, he says they now have the votes they need to pass a second impeachment resolution against President Trump. And he says that it is the strong belief of many Democrats that they should then send those articles immediately to the Senate for a trial, not to wait for 100 days, as Whip Clyburn has been advocating.
Al Green filed one that is about the Iran situation, about war powers, about Trump starting a war without Congress. And then there is another one from a different representative that is about Trump threatening Democratic lawmakers with execution, like actual execution with death. Trump says something about executing people, and Congress is treating that as impeachable. So Trump is facing multiple impeachment efforts from multiple representatives on multiple issues simultaneously. And get this, at the same time that House Democrats are filing impeachment articles, they are also running a parallel campaign to get Trump's own cabinet to remove him using the 25th Amendment.
And that may create something of a split in the Democratic Party. It may mean that President-elect Biden's cabinet nominees will have to wait a little bit longer to get confirmed. But Congressman Liu told me that it's the strong belief of many in the House Democratic caucus that this can't wait and that it has to be addressed now.
All right, so let's talk about then what happens next, because of course then it goes to the Senate. And Nancy, we've seen at least two Republican senators, Alaska's Lisa Murkowski and Pennsylvania's Pat Toomey, call for the president's resignation. So do Democrats believe Republicans will join with them on this vote, even if it doesn't ultimately lead to Mr. Trump's removal in the next 9 days? Because resignation is one thing. They fell short of saying they would support impeachment.
That's part of the reason that House Democrats think that this can't wait. They feel that at this moment, this is the moment to act, because you've got Democrats and Republicans alike who are furious with this president, and that perhaps there are Republicans who normally wouldn't want to cross either the president or his base, who might be willing to take a difficult vote now.
Yeah, the 25th Amendment. The thing that basically says, if the vice president and a majority of the cabinet say the president is unfit, he is out. That is the rule that is in the Constitution. And Democrats are literally pressuring Vance and the cabinet to invoke it. So here is what is happening right now. Democrats have a two-track removal plan. Track one is impeachment through Congress. Track two is getting J.D. Vance and Trump's own cabinet to declare him unfit and remove him. Two separate paths, two separate strategies, two separate ways to end Trump's presidency. And they are pushing both at the same time. This is like a political pincer move. They are attacking from two directions at once.
But who knows how those same Republicans will feel a few months from now when the pressure has cooled, when this president is long gone from public office. So that's why House Democrats think it is important to act. Yes, you would need if all 50 Democrats vote yes, you would need about 16 Republicans to vote yes as well, because don't forget, it takes 2/3 of the Senate to vote to remove a president, which, at the point that they took that vote, he probably would have already left office. But it would also mean he wouldn't be able to run again, which might be a powerful motivator for some Republican senators.
Right. That's a very good point. One that I haven't heard discussed too much is that some of these senators obviously have presidential ambitions themselves, and, perhaps removing Mr. Trump from the field would work to their advantage in that regard as well.
Right. And it's not just that. It's the fact that if this president is intent on running again in 4 years, then that kind of hangs like a scepter over everything that Senate Republicans do for the next 4 years.
This is not normal political stuff. This is not like, oh, we are going to investigate him or we are going to hold hearings. This is like we are filing actual documents that say, he committed crimes and he needs to be removed from office immediately. This is constitutional crisis stuff. This is serious stuff, and Congress is treating it that way. The impeachment articles are specific. They are detailed. Larson says Trump launched and expanded a war in Iran without congressional authorization. That is illegal. That violates the Constitution. It is Trump's job to go to Congress and ask for a declaration of war. He did not do that. He just started the war. He just ordered strikes on Iran. He just escalated the whole thing. And now Congress is saying that is impeachable. That is a high crime. That is a misdemeanor. That is grounds for removal. And that is just one article. There are 12 more. Larson is also accusing Trump of militarizing domestic law enforcement, of ordering racially motivated deportations, of systematically bypassing Congress on military actions. These are not minor things. These are serious constitutional violations. This is like, are you kidding me level stuff? This is the kind of abuse of power that the founders were worried about when they wrote the Constitution. But here is the wild part. This is just the second set of impeachment articles. There are other impeachment articles on file from other representatives. Al Green filed one that has been sitting there accusing Trump of violating Congress's power to declare war. That is also about the Iran situation. That is also serious. That is also deadly serious. And there is another resolution that is accusing Trump of abusing presidential power by threatening Democratic lawmakers with execution, like with death, with actual execution. So Trump is facing multiple impeachment efforts, multiple articles, multiple representatives, multiple charges. This is not one person doing one thing. This is a coordinated effort. This is a movement. And at least 70 Democratic members are openly calling for his removal. 70. That is a lot. That is serious support. That is real momentum. These are not fringe members. These are mainstream Democrats saying Trump needs to be removed. These are elected officials. These are serious people who are willing to take this step. And then there is the cabinet pressure. Oh man, the cabinet pressure is insane. Democrats are literally sending letters to J.D. Vance and Trump's cabinet officials telling them they need to remove Trump. They are saying that if you do not use the 25th Amendment to remove him, you are complicit in his actions. You are responsible. You are part of the problem. You own Trump's behavior if you do nothing. So now Trump's own cabinet members are facing pressure to vote him out. They are facing pressure to declare him unfit. They are facing pressure to end his presidency. Can you believe this? This is wild. Trump is getting attacked from every angle at once. House Democrats are filing impeachment articles. Advocacy groups are pressuring his cabinet. Progressive lawmakers are making speeches. Media is covering it constantly. And then Trump just issued a temporary ceasefire on Iran. Like he just backed off his threat to destroy a whole civilization. Is that a coincidence? Did he cave because of the removal pressure? Is he panicking? We do not know yet. But the timing is interesting. That is where we are right now. That is the breaking news. That is what just happened. House Democrats have filed impeachment articles, multiple sets, real charges, real crimes, real removal efforts. And they are also targeting Trump's cabinet to remove him via the 25th Amendment. This is serious. This is real. This is happening right now. Let us get into the details here, because this story is deeper than just Democrats filing papers. There is a lot going on underneath the surface. This is like an iceberg situation. You see the tip, but there is so much more underneath. Most people do not understand what is really happening. So let me break it down and explain it, because this is important stuff. First, the impeachment articles. Larson filed 13 of them on April 6th, 2026, 13 separate charges. And the core charge is about the Iran war. Trump ordered military strikes on Iran without getting congressional approval. That is a constitutional violation. Congress is supposed to declare war. Congress is supposed to authorize military action. Trump bypassed Congress. Trump just did it himself. Trump used his power as president to start a war. That is not how it works. That is not how the Constitution works. Congress has the exclusive power to declare war. That is in Article 1 of the Constitution. That is not a suggestion. That is not optional. That is a hard rule. The president can be commander-in-chief once Congress declares war. But the president cannot just unilaterally start a war. Trump did that anyway. And now Congress is saying that is impeachable. That is a violation of the Constitution. That is grounds for removal. And here is the thing. There are already impeachment articles filed on basically the same issue. Al Green filed one. It is about the Iran strikes and war powers. It talks about how Trump violated Congress's exclusive power to declare war. It talks about how Trump started a war without authorization. It talks about how Trump is basically acting like a dictator. And then there's another one that is about something else entirely. That one is about Trump threatening Democratic lawmakers with execution, like with death. Trump literally said something about executing people, and Congress is like, yeah, that is impeachable too. That violates your duties as president. So Trump is facing multiple impeachment charges on multiple issues from multiple representatives. And that creates momentum. That creates a sense of like, okay, this is serious. This is not just one crazy congressman in a basement somewhere filing papers nobody will read. This is a movement. This is organized. This is real. Multiple representatives, multiple different issues, multiple different angles, all pointing at Trump, all saying he committed crimes. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is the part that most people miss. This is the real story. Congress knows they cannot impeach Trump and actually remove him through a Senate conviction. The math does not work. Republicans control the Senate. Trump would need to lose votes from some Republicans to get convicted. That is not happening anytime soon. So impeachment in the House is basically symbolic. It makes a statement, it creates a record, but it will not actually remove Trump. Not right now, not with these numbers. So why are they doing it? Well, because there is a plan B, the 25th Amendment. Yeah, that is the backup plan. That is the real plan. Because the 25th Amendment does not require Congress. It does not require the Senate. It does not require Republican votes. It just requires the vice president and a majority of the cabinet. That is it. J.D. Vance and half of Trump's cabinet could literally vote him out tomorrow. They could declare him unfit. They could remove him from office, and Congress could not do anything about it. The vote has already happened. Trump is already out. So Democrats are essentially calling out the cabinet. They are saying, hey, you work for Trump. You sit with him every day. You attend meetings with him. You see what he is like. Do you think he is fit to be president? Do you think he is sane? Do you think he is stable? Do you think he is mentally competent? And if the answer is no, which it seems like it should be, after he threatened to destroy a whole civilization, then you need to use the 25th Amendment to remove him. That is your constitutional duty. That is what you swore to do. This is psychological pressure. This is political pressure. This is like, if you do not act, you are complicit, you are responsible, you are part of the problem. If Trump does something bad and you could have stopped him, but you did not, then you own that. You are complicit, you are responsible. So now cabinet members are caught in the middle. They either have to support Trump and own all of his crazy behavior, or they have to vote him out using the 25th Amendment. They cannot just stay neutral. They cannot just hide. They have to make a choice. And here is the timing thing that is really interesting. Trump issued a temporary ceasefire on Iran. Right after all this removal talk started, right after the impeachment articles were filed, right after the cabinet pressure campaign began, did Trump panic? Did Trump realize that people were serious about removing him? Did he actually get scared that his own cabinet might turn on him? Did he back off because he was actually worried about losing power? We do not know for sure, but the timing is suspicious. That is what people are saying. That is what observers are noticing. Trump issues a threat about destroying a civilization. Congress starts filing impeachment articles. Democrats start pressuring the cabinet. And suddenly Trump issues a ceasefire. Is that a coincidence? Probably not. And then there is this other thing that people are not really talking about yet. Democrats have a plan. If they win the midterms in 2026, they are talking about a clean sweep. They are talking about impeaching Trump, but they are also talking about impeaching J.D. Vance. Yeah, Vance too. If Democrats win the House and Senate, they are planning to impeach both Trump and Vance, and then the Democratic speaker becomes president. That is the plan. That is what they are openly discussing. That is what they are thinking about. That is the long-term play. So from a Democratic perspective, this is actually brilliant. Like, they know they cannot remove Trump right now, but they can set up a political situation where removal becomes possible. They can pressure the cabinet. They can file impeachment articles. They can create a record. They can show the American people that Trump committed crimes. They can document his abuse of power. And then if Democrats win in November, they can actually follow through and remove him. And then they can remove Vance too. And then they control the presidency. This is like a long-term strategy. This is not just about removing Trump today. This is about building a case for removing him tomorrow. This is about preparing the ground. This is about making sure that if political power shifts, Trump is done. Trump is finished. Trump cannot stay in power. That is actually smart politics. Not that I am endorsing it. I am just saying from a strategic perspective, it is clever. It is well thought out. It is a real plan. But here is what is wild. Trump is actually responding to this. Trump is actually backing off his crazy rhetoric. Trump is actually getting worried. Trump is actually scared. That shows how powerful this removal talk is. Trump is like, okay, maybe I should not threaten to destroy a whole civilization. Maybe that is not good. Maybe people actually care about that. Maybe people will actually remove me if I keep doing that. So he issues a ceasefire, he backs off, he tries to look reasonable, he tries to look stable, he tries to look competent, but it is too late. The articles are filed, the cabinet pressure is on, the removal machinery is in motion, and once you start that process, it is hard to stop. Once you file impeachment articles, you cannot just unfile them. Once you pressure the cabinet, you cannot just unpressure them. The process has started and it is going to continue. The momentum is there. The pressure is there. The threat is real. Let us break this down into what actually matters. What are the big things people need to know about this situation? Let me lay it out. First, Democrats have a two-track removal strategy. They are using impeachment to build a legal case and create a political record, but they are using the 25th Amendment as the actual removal mechanism. So they are not counting on impeachment to remove Trump. They are not hoping that the Senate will convict him. They are using impeachment as a way to pressure the cabinet into using the 25th Amendment. That is the strategy. That is the play. And honestly, that makes sense because impeachment will not work. Republicans control the Senate. Trump will not be convicted. So why bother? Well, because it keeps the issue alive. It keeps the pressure on. It keeps Trump worried. And it sets up the narrative for removal later. So Democrats are thinking long term here. They are not just trying to win today. They are trying to win next week and next month and next year. Second, Trump's cabinet is now in an impossible position. Think about this from their perspective. They work for Trump. They serve at his pleasure. He can fire them anytime he wants. But Democrats are pressuring them to use the 25th Amendment to fire him. So they are caught between their boss and Congress. They are caught between loyalty and constitutional duty. And whatever they choose, they are going to face consequences. If they vote to remove Trump, they lose their jobs and they become enemies of Trump forever. Trump will never forgive them. Trump will attack them publicly. Trump will try to destroy their careers. On the other hand, if they do not vote to remove Trump, they become complicit in his actions. They become responsible for his crazy behavior. If Trump does something really bad, like actually starts a war or threatens violence or whatever, then those cabinet members own that. They let it happen. They could have stopped it, but they did not. So basically, Trump's cabinet members are screwed either way. They are facing a political death trap. They cannot win, they can only lose. So maybe they just resign. Maybe they just quit and go back to the private sector. Maybe they do not want to be part of this anymore. Third, the removal pressure is actually working. Trump backed off his threat to destroy a whole civilization. Trump issued a ceasefire. Trump is trying to look reasonable all of a sudden. That is not a coincidence. That is not Trump being nice. That is Trump being scared. Trump is worried that he is actually going to get removed. Trump is worried that the cabinet might actually vote him out. And so he is trying to calm things down and look more stable and look more reasonable. But it is too late. The articles are filed, the pressure is on. And that is actually important because it shows that the removal threat is credible. It shows that Trump takes it seriously. And if Trump takes it seriously, maybe other people should take it seriously too. Maybe the cabinet should take it seriously. Maybe Congress should take it seriously. Maybe the American people should take it seriously. The fact that Trump backed down suggests that the pressure is real and the threat of removal is real. Fourth, this is actually about setting up for the midterms. Like, the real game is not right now. The real game is in November 2026, when Americans vote. If Republicans hold the House and Senate, Trump survives. Democrats do not have the votes to remove him. But if Democrats win, then they have the votes. Then they have the power. Then they can actually remove Trump. And they have already said they will do it. They have already filed the articles. They have already prepared the case. So Democrats are basically saying to voters, if you want Trump removed, vote for us in the midterms. Give us control of Congress and we will remove him. That is the message. That is the pitch. So this whole impeachment thing is actually a midterm message. It is like, we are serious about this. We have the articles. We have the case. We have the strategy. Just give us the votes. And that is actually a powerful message, because a lot of Americans are worried about Trump. A lot of Americans do not like him. A lot of Americans want him gone. So Democrats are basically saying, we can make that happen. Just vote for us. Give us the House, give us the Senate, and Trump is done. Now, will it actually work? Will Democrats actually remove Trump if they win? Probably. I mean, they are already filing the articles. They are already building the case. So yeah, if they have the votes, they will use them. They will impeach Trump and they will impeach Vance and they will make the Democratic Speaker president. That is what they are saying. And you know what? Whether you like that or not, that is actually how the Constitution works. That is the constitutional process. If the House impeaches and the Senate convicts, the president is removed. That is the rule. So Democrats are not doing anything illegal. They are not doing anything unconstitutional. They are just using the tools that the Constitution gives them. So that is what is happening right now. Democrats are filing impeachment articles. Democrats are pressuring the cabinet. Democrats are building a removal strategy. And Trump is worried. Trump is backing down. Trump is trying to look reasonable. But at the end of the day, Trump's presidency is in someone else's hands now. It is in the cabinet's hands. It is in Congress's hands. It is in the voters' hands. Trump cannot control it anymore. He just has to hope that nobody actually removes him. House Democrats have filed impeachment articles. The cabinet is under pressure, and removal proceedings have begun, all with the midterms looming. It's uncharted territory, and the outcome will shape American democracy for generations.